Well, hello, world. My name is Matthew Muddiman, and I've written a book, and it's Your Life is Up to You. Choices do have consequences. You get to decide. I've come to the realization that my life experiences are like many middle school or and high school kids, or even young adults who are a little lost and don't know how to get through the various challenges that you face every day. My book is a real life story of survival and hope. And in the coming series of posts, I hope to share with you true stories, life lessons that inspired me upon my journey from poverty to success, and hopefully encourages anyone struggling with life's challenges to persevere and be open to possibilities. Every day we're faced with choices that will impact your life, both positive and negative. Doors will be open and doors will be shut based upon you taking the opportunity that comes your way. There are all kinds of people that mentor, give advice, but in the end, you're the only person that's going to determine your success in life. And the reality is, besides your mother, maybe your father, and some brothers and sisters, nobody else really gives a shit whether you're successful or not. In my journey, I experienced people that didn't care, weren't really interested, and then people that were interested, that would mentor me and give me life-changing advice. My goal is to set the stage, to share with you how I've coped, what I've overcome, and out there in the world, if one person is better off by me sharing some of the challenges that I faced and ways that I coped with them, then I will have done what I thought I set out to do. My book really started out being a life story about my genealogy, my family history. But what I found as I went through it and I wrote about it, I thought, my gosh, there are a lot of people that could benefit from me writing this book. I'm going to share some true stories of the life lessons that I've learned coming from poverty in the inner city of Cincinnati, Ohio, to tragedy from both parents dying when I was a young person, to overcome through a life and death situation when I was shot in the chest with a shotgun at 14 and survived it through God's will. So over the coming episodes, I'm going to be very specific about ways to overcome these things, to make good choices, and give examples along the way of brothers, mothers, fathers, sisters, the impact of choices that they had made and the impact that it had on their lives. Hopefully, the the first and foremost key message is take control of your life. Understand that you're the only person that will make the choices that will determine whether you succeed in the goals that you've set for self, or that you fail because you do some bad things where choices cannot be overcome. Always remember, your choices will influence your life. And hopefully, you will make choices that will not cause you to lose your life or not be able to continue down the goals that you want to set for yourself. This is not hyperbole. This is the reality that we all live with. And every day in inner cities, on farms, working, not working, these are all choices that will determine whether you reach your goals. This is not from book theory. I am not the smartest person in the world. I am educated. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting. But I'm not a philosopher. I'm not trained in mental health. I can only share with you what I've come through and how I coped and the lessons that I've learned. And that's where I hope that you can give yourself a half hour of time every week to come back and listen to a podcast that I plan to make that will give you tricks, that will teach you things on how to cope, that will help you maybe get through some difficult times, but also help you to reach the goals that you have. Just a little bit of my background. I grew up with a drunken father who was mentally ill, who was abusive to all the brothers and sisters ahead of me, 6 of which my older brothers and sisters, many of which left home at teenagers to escape to the military or to get married early or to go in foster care so that they wouldn't have to be home with the abuse that my father constantly put out and ultimately caused him to be institutionalized for his drinking and mental illness. My mother, raised a Catholic Italian woman, never thought of divorce, was committed to her husband, even though it was very difficult to her. One of life lessons I followed by watching her is her commitment to her spouse and to her family. She, in Ohio, was able to institutionalize my father for his mental illness, for his drinking. And that was one of the toughest decisions, I'm certain, that she had to make. My mother worked as a waitress at Camp Washington, Chile. I believe the organization is still there today. And she worked for peanuts, but tips. But it was her way to get out of the roach-infested and rat-infected home that we lived, to get outside of the home, and for just a moment, forget about all the troubles that she had at home. She died at age 41, being a severe diabetic who wouldn't take care of herself, didn't take care of herself, because she was busy taking care of myself and my brother in closest age to me, the only two left in the house living when she passed away. For those people that live in Cincinnati, there used to be a project on Sutter Avenue called English Woods. At the time, we were living at 2014 Sutter Avenue in English Woods. It was a government housing, and my mother fell ill, went into a diabetic coma, and died at the age of 41. It was at that moment, when my father was already in the mental institution, that we were basically orphaned, me and my brother Bernard. At that moment, we could have given up, and we would have become wards of the state. But a couple of things happened that were really, really positive. My oldest brother, Tim, took us in and made the commitment that he would not let us become orphans of the state of Ohio. And I was able to continue going to the school. For those of you in Cincinnati that are of close to my age, there was a Catholic middle school called St. Leo's School and Church on South Fairmount Avenue. The church is still there today. They service inner city families, mostly Hispanic and African descent at this point. But my teachers at the time when my mother passed away stepped up and said, we're going to let you finish our school, and we're going to be committed to driving you to and from your brother's house, which was on the other side of town in Whitten Place, so that you could finish going to school. I tell you these two stories because these are two true stories of many stories that I will tell you that you have to pay attention to. If people want to help, accept their help. I would have not at this time been able to finish school if two teachers, actually three teachers from the school wouldn't take turns driving me to my brother's house so I could finish an 8th grade education and go to and from that school called St. Leo's in South Fairmount and driving over to Whitten Place every day where my brother lived and where I stayed. Those are true stories of mentorship, of people willing to reach out and give hope when we thought that maybe there was no hope. So the first important lesson is, just in the darkest of times, pay attention. People will help you, but you have to be willing to accept the help and to work. In my case, I had to finish my 8th grade education at St. Leo's Church and School in South Fairmount. And I had to be willing to go back and forth between that school and my brother's house in Whitten Place, which was approximately 10 miles. And I made that trip back and forth every day. There's nothing too hard to overcome. This is just one of the many examples when my mother passed and I became an orphan, that I realized that it was going to be up to me to work hard, pay attention to people that wanted to help, but also be committed to finishing, in this case, middle school. Such a simple task. But if I would have never finished middle school and not gotten that education, then I would have not been able to go to high school. So pay attention. Accept the challenges that come to you. Look for ways to overcome those challenges, and they will come. You will have failures. You will feel like giving up. But it's up to you. Your life is up to you. The choices that you make and how you respond to these difficult challenges, of which I'm going to share with you over the coming months and year, many of those challenges. Now let me step back for just a moment and give you the high level view of things from my life. I grew up in poverty. We moved from houses rat and roach infested throughout South Fairmount Avenue, at the top of Fairmount Avenue, in a park house that was rat infested, that I used to have to sit on the cabinet to listen to radio. We didn't have a TV, to Cincinnati Reds games. We like you, many of you, bored to death. We did silly things, but never life-changing things. There was a brand new communication tower at the top of the park. And one day we were just bored stiff, and we found some tools and took the fence down that was around the communication tower. We were bored. So the message here is find things to do. Get a hobby. Do things to keep you out of trouble. And don't ever do things that are so detrimental to your long-term life. You will fail. You will have difficult times. But don't ever do anything that puts your life at risk, someone else at risk, or your health at risk. Because your dreams can be truly impaired if you don't stop and think about the choices you make. After this first video, I want you to commit to two things. One is realizing that there is no one else in the world that will have more impact on your success than you. I'll say that again. There is no one else in the world that will have more impact on you reaching your goals than you. The second part is I want you to take time for yourself to think about what you want to do with your life and your career, and reach for those goals. Draw out a path, draw out a plan. Write it down on a piece of paper. Make the plan. No one else is going to do that plan for you. And throughout the steps of your growing up and growing old, there will be challenges, many, many challenges and choices that you make. I will give you examples of those in the coming weeks and months. Realize you and you only will need to take control of where you go and what you do. You can be very successful, and success is not always just money. My view of the world is giving back to society, participating in your community, volunteering, going to church. And if you have monetary success, giving back financially to your family members, your church, your community. But success is not all about money. Society requires a variety of people like me and many of you that might be listening to this. You may not be born into money, and it's not all about money. It's about what you do with your life that God has given you and how you choose to be an active member of society, whether you live in Russia or Belgium or Rio or Sao Paulo or Mexico City or Singapore or Europe, Aberdeen, any place in the world. I name some of these cities because I was very fortunate over my lifetime to travel to significant places around the world at company expense, not at personal expense, to learn cultures and to learn about people and society. And I will share some of these learnings with you as we get to know each other in the future. For now, I'm going to close this discussion by reinforcing what I want you to do and I want you to think about. Your life is up to you. Take control of it. Be careful about the choices you make. It will have an impact. All the choices we make throughout our lives will have an impact. Think about those choices because it will set the stage for your success or failure in the future and how life treats you moving forward. The government of any country is not going to determine your future. You are, with the skills that you learn and what you do. And then secondly, write down what you want to accomplish and give yourself at least a half hour a week to give real thought to what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish. Because that is going to set the path of where you go. Let me give you an example. I'm not an athlete. I'm not a genius. I just work all of my life. I get out of bed every day and give 110% to whatever I'm doing at the time. That's what you've got to do. You've got to get yourself out of bed and give 110% if you want to succeed in this life, whatever it is you're doing. I promise you, if financially you want to make money, you will make money by showing that you will get out of bed every day and give 110% of your effort. You will learn so much, and people will see and respect that effort. I challenge you to start this journey and I will release another video within the next week. Thank you for spending some of your time today listening to a guy that is not trained in psychology, is not the smartest guy in the room. I've met many of those people. Grew up out of poverty, did not have a silver spoon in my mouth, but learned how to adapt in this society. Everything I tell you, you can go research yourself. You'll find it's true. And I'm here to tell you and help you along the way to learn some of the skills that I've learned to be a survivor in this life when life maybe didn't hand me the best of beginnings. Goodbye for now. Remember, your life is up to you. My book will be released within the next month. You can read it or you can follow my videos. My goal is to teach you. I'm not trying to make a lot of money off that book. I'm trying to reach you, the people that might need some help navigating difficult times in your life, whatever age you are. Bye for now.